Alright, what is up people, Ishbu here, and if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're reading my Garrosh tank guide. If you're not, it's on heroesheart.com. I strongly suggest you check it out. You're going to get this content as well as a lot more other tips and tricks, as well as a combo video, so definitely check that out if you haven't. For those of you who are watching this, I'm going to basically be using this as a demonstration of how to play Garrosh in HL. So what you're going to see here is a Masters / GM HL game. I'm going to be playing Garrosh, obviously, for obvious purposes. If I hit tab, you're going to recognize a couple of the names, I assume. At least one of them. But anyways, this game is just basically, I'm going to be commentating over a replay of my game just to tell you what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And hopefully this can give you some insight into how to play Garrosh in this environment. So, without further ado, let's just get started. Now, looking directly at the enemy team, you're going to notice a couple scary early game heroes and a couple not so scary early game heroes. Zeratul and Diablo, not very scary. Maiev, Greymane, pretty scary. So, got to be careful of getting comboed myself, but otherwise their front line's pretty pickable if I ever get a good throw. That being said, my Sonya decides to go top immediately, which is fine for her. It just means I shouldn't be going too aggressive mid. So what you're going to see me doing instead is I'm just going to be looking to fish for Q stacks, maybe throw someone if I can get someone to tower range, but that's about it. Use Q to check vision. Hanzo then gets me covered for the rest of it. So as I said, like, Sonya's top. The enemy has we don't have a confirmed number, but could have up to 5 people here, so we don't really want to be dealing with this. Honestly, it was a mistake to throw Diablo here. I end up taking more damage than he does. I don't die, but I do come close. I get a lot of stacks, though, so I guess that part's worth it. Bad trade for me. I probably shouldn't have thrown Diablo in. My hammer was also bought, so absolutely zero chance we kill him there. So laning phase, you're going to see me playing in this area right here. I'm going to be basically trying to protect whatever side, because the enemy has a pretty nasty gank squad. Also, if they overextend like this, I can punish with throws. Unfortunately, this trade doesn't go too well. Maiev ends up picking my hammer, but I don't know. And then my Rhaegar makes a little bit of a hero play, tries to get a counter kill, and ends up going 1-for-1 in it. The Maiev jumps my Q, so we can't pursue this any further. So my goal now is then to get this soak. The enemy team isn't soaking mid, so despite them getting one more kill than us, you're actually going to see we're pretty even in EXP, no real loss here. So this is a mistake by the enemy team not soaking all 3 waves. I use my combo to clear the wave, and as such, I don't have anything to go aggressive on this Maiev with, so I'm just going to step off the wave, basically seek pressure to her. For all I know, there could be up to 4 people here, so I want to play super safe. See that the enemy team takes their easy camp. Ideally, I don't want to be soaking this myself, but my team has better wave clear, and I don't clear this camp very well. I want to be, as I said here, protecting my team from ganks like this. That being said, my team... well, it takes a little bit. Hammer eventually moves up to clear that. So now this is the position I want to be holding. I want to be holding this middle area. This way I can see and cut off any rotations in between, and if the enemy goes on my team like this, I can then move down to threaten a counter kill. So this way I can both protect my team and give information. I don't really need to stand in the lanes. And right here you're going to see me protecting. Rhaegar was doing the camp. The enemy invaded. I decide to throw the Maiev away for peel for my Rhaegar so he has time to get out. This time, though, the enemy engage on me, and this will show you what happens when you try to all-in a Garrosh. I mess up my Unstoppable a little bit, but as you're going to see in the gameplay, this ends up being a very advantageous trade for us. So, the big question here is why I threw the Greymane in, and the big reason there was I didn't feel under threat, or rather, I felt like I was going to live even if I threw them in. Both their CCs were down with the Diablo and the Maiev. I truthfully should have saved Unstoppable for the Maiev tether. That was my mistake, but either way, I felt like I was going to live. I saw Rhaegar here, so I threw the Greymane in to threaten the counter kill, and I ended up snowballing into even more kills because the enemy got greedy trying to kill me. Alright, right here, I want to really highlight something. I'm going to hit these a few times, and then I'm going to step in this bush once I drop vision, and I'm going to mount. You're going to see why I do this in a second. Alright, and just like that, by mounting up before in the bush out of sight, I'm able to get a really early, a really aggressive positioning onto that Maiev. She can't really do anything because I'm moving so much faster than her. And it ends up turning into 1 kill, which snowballs into a 2nd kill here on the Alexstrasza. So this is great for my team. I've just helped us snowball 2 kills and guarantee our objective. So Now our goal should be to make sure Sonya catches the rest of the soak on the map, and then we get as much as we can with this Punisher. Right now I'm trying to push the wave in ahead of time. This is so that my team can hit this wall. Whenever possible, try to break it, do as much damage to the wall as you can before the Punisher reaches it. These two towers deal a lot of damage to the Punisher. It's not just the fort. Enemy Maiev does something a little silly here. She tries to get some stacks for her level 1, but ends up dying for it. As you saw there, I threw her through the wall, even though you have to have vision for that type of thing, but you can, your ease range is long enough to do that. So we still have a minion wave. I'm pressuring up to try and stop them from clearing that. Greymane makes a mistake, gets caught. And just like that, we have another kill. I can look for these aggressive throws mostly because we have this 4v3 situation. We're also 2 levels up. We're super far ahead right now, and I should just be looking to make as many aggressive plays as I can in this 4-man. Yep, and there's another pick. So the enemy team is really not respecting my Garrosh range right now, and we're kind of just farming him. There's my Hanzo styling on the Zeratul right there. We want to snowball this lead, and that generally means the next thing is going to be top, so we want that, but we want to get walls, we want to get structures, we want to do as much as possible as we can while we're in this 10 to not 10 advantage. For those of you wondering if this game is just going to be a stomp like this, it is going to be a little bit more even later. My teammates do some decisions that make this game a little bit more even later. But for right now, as you can see, we're using the goats and hammer to just siege mid. I'm actually going to ping my team here. I want my team to just come mid and just hard push us down. We can get this fort if all 4 of my teammates come here. We're a little slow in the rotation. And I get another free pick on Diablo. So something I want you to notice from that one is I actually queued him twice. I queued him once. This is my team doing something silly. I queued him once but didn't throw him, specifically because my teammates were not in range. If your teammates aren't there, don't waste your cooldowns. Don't put the enemy there. You're just like you're just telling the enemy team, like, I don't know. You're just wasting cooldowns. You're wasting mana. There's no point. Save your cooldowns for when your teammates get in range. If you rewind that and watch that, you'll see I didn't actually use my throw combo on the Diablo until my teammates got in range. So, as I said, the throw has started. Sonya's going to follow suit. She's going to get picked as well. I'm just going to soak. My teammates aren't on the map to catch waves. I feel pretty safe, and I want to just make sure we get as much soak as we can. There's nothing we can really push down 3v5. So I'm just going to be clearing waves. Not the most fun thing to do as a tank, but something you have to do. This one, though, is important. I saw the enemy team was top, right? They just ganked Sonya. My Rhaegar's doing this hard. I need to be up here to protect him. I need to give him vision similar to what I do. Diablo shows on this, and now I know I'm doing the right thing. And this Alex Strauss is way out of position. The enemy team is way too scattered to be doing this invade. Because I saw what my team was doing, and I knew where the enemy was likely, I was able to correctly predict where they were, where the enemy team would be, what they were doing, and was able to get a counter pick on their invade. So that's huge, and it's going to get us 2 kills. Yep. Nice clean, just keep throwing. My team's throwing, but I'm throwing the correct way. Anyways, I want to get healthy before this next shrine, and I want to keep my tap up. Ideally, if you can, try to have your tap up for objectives, just in case fights happen. You can then always get off the shrine, tap, and then come back. It's pretty nice. Either way, enemy team is going to do a very good decision actually here. Rather than fight us down so far without their ultimates, they're just going to push mid and bot. So this is going to make us have to decide: are we going to respond to them, or are we going to focus all on the shrine? My team, so there's 2 decisions we can do. We could leave Sonya here and defend 4v5 on these 2. It gives us the best, like, it keeps the EXP lead where it is, but this is probably the less safe decision. The better decision, and what we're going to end up doing, is we're going to push way ahead of this minion wave and ahead of this Punisher, and we're going to try and take this keep wall. The reason being, if you can take keep wall before the Punisher even gets there, it almost guarantees capturing the keep afterwards. So my team makes a good decision here. We're going to lose a lot of our EXP lead here, but we're going to set up a potential win con, because we're going to get at least keep, and if we get kills off of the initial Punisher jump, we could even end the game. So here's just me looking for picks. As I said, I know I have more teammates here than the enemy has people here, so I'm just looking for as many picks as I can. Nice Q into short throw, taunt, and Diablo's lost souls. That being said, he does res, which does become an important thing. So, slightly wasted arrow. Punisher jumps. I should have been better on this Punisher. That's my bad. I should have been ready to immediately throw off of the Punisher's thing. I'm going to Unstoppable APOC, and I'm going to throw my Rhaegar to cleanse him of the stun as well. That lets him get in position to Ancestral Sonya, saving her life. At this point, my team realizes our mistake. We've lost a person and all the enemy team are alive, so we just want to hit this and get out. I believe we get one more kill on this Maiev again. Oh, actually, no. She gets a kill on Diablo, too. Yeah, good for us, but we're not going to get anything more here. My team should leave. Like, there's nothing more for us to get. So we just start heading out. And now we want to just take over the map, take camps, take mid-fort. Honestly, that was a pretty sloppy Punisher. We probably could have gotten a lot more since the wall was down. As I said, if we get clean picks off that first jump, we could potentially even end the game right there. So, not the best for us, and that's going to kind of give the enemy team a couple more chances back in the game. Alright, so back to what me and my team are doing. My team's doing things. This is the point in the game where there's really very little purpose in splitting, especially against a team that's as dangerous as this. Zeratul and Diablo want to catch us catch us by ourselves, so I'm just playing bodyguard again while my team pushes out lanes, gets camps. Nothing too fancy here. I'm just moving out ahead, trying to get vision. I have my unstoppable up, so I'm not really afraid of dying. And now we've got 6 goatmen mid again. So this time, once again, I want my team to just push with these goatmen. We're technically even talent tier, which just means it's not a great time to fight. But because we have hammer and because we have these goatmen, like, I really want to try and get the 16 off this fort because we just have such a big wave and advantage here. Not to mention, I think we see this Maiev splitting, so we know we can move up aggressively. So now we hit 16, we are much less scared of them. We should be... Honestly, we should just keep pushing. There's zero reason we shouldn't be pushing, but my Sonya decides to invade this camp instead. This is all fine, like, it's fine for her to make this play, but we, as the rest of the team, kind of have to respect it and push back. As you're going to see, I'm not really going to go for this throw on the Zeratul, and that's just because we weren't all here to support it. I don't want to potentially risk us getting VP'd, APOC'd, and then throwing our lead that way. Anyways... You're going to see at this point, my team is still moving as 5. We have the camp. This camp's going to get actually very little value because Nazmus here makes an interesting play. So what he's doing is, he's basically saying, the thing isn't spawning for a while, this keep wall's worth a lot of EXP, I'm going to just die for this keep wall. It ends up actually working out for him, really, because he dies before the... He's going to respawn before the Punisher comes back, and he draws all 5 of us here. That was a mistake. We overcommitted resources here. We only really needed to send 1, maybe 2 people down to answer this. So he actually gets them back in the game as far as EXP is concerned. And it's we probably should have just kept pushing mid and maybe sent 1 person back to answer. Not too bad, but we're kind of playing to the enemy's tune rather than dictating the pace of the game, which is really bad when you're ahead. You should always be looking to push stuff faster than the enemy team. Though my team's been really indecisive about our pushes, so not really the greatest of things. What you're going to see here, though, I'm going to take up my posture here. I think we can get this kill, but I make a mistake. I think Sonya has either Wrath or Poison. Like, she doesn't have Poison Spear and she didn't have Wrath up. If she had either of those up, that was a kill on Zeratul, so it was just a miscalculation by me. Either way, though, I did waste my taunt before the objective, so that is kind of bad. I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to hold this bottom bush. But as you're going to see, this fight's going to go a lot worse for my team because the enemy team actually commits behind me. Zeratul gets a good flank on my backline. So I'm forced to give up this bush position just because the enemy team, like Diablo, can wallbang me in here. I look for the throw on Maiev, but we don't end up getting the kill, and she actually gets a good wall on the rest of my team. Then Sonya gets 1 shot, and things start going downhill from here. What you're going to see me do here is I'm going to throw to guaranteed get a proc of my shield on my Q. And this is actually going to keep me alive. The enemy team thinks that Zeratul has me, but he actually doesn't. So this, I'll come back to this taunt in a second. A lot of people underestimate Garrosh's armor. Once I get the shield, I see he has no mana for blink, so I just go all in on him. I know my W's coming back up, and I'm actually able to get a cheese kill when I have no right doing so. A lot of people underestimate Garrosh's armor when he's low, and that's the second time I baited the enemy team. So, quick note on why I use the taunt there. When you taunt someone, they follow you as if they just right-clicked you. They don't do any attack moving, they don't do any stutter stepping. So, by taunting him there, he actually got less auto attacks on me than if he just followed me normally. He also was unable to cast abilities. So, weirdly enough, the taunt actually helped keep me alive. Not a common use of taunt, but kind of a little bit of a desperation one. So, enemy team now has to answer this, and Zeratul's dead, so they can't really push with their Punisher. I unstoppable to tank this. Namely because I was afraid of Diablo being out of vision over here and trying to wallbang me here. Something to always keep in mind with when tanking these. who can engage off of it, so, and then how to play around it. As you saw, I did not stand in front of my fort, so I couldn't get knocked into the wall. Here I see a good pick on Diablo, but my team doesn't follow, and you're going to see, basically, I talked a lot about how you can only get picks when your team is nearby, and you're going to see why right here. I can keep this guy here for almost ever, but it doesn't matter at this point. My team didn't follow, I don't have damage. So, instead, I'm just going to get a little bit of the wave cleared out, join with my team, and look to pick another fight. Enemies pushing top lane. Once again, we're responding. Not the greatest for us, but the enemy messes up. Specifically, the Diablo ends up missing his combo on Sonya, and this keeps her alive long enough for us to land this. Alright, so what you just saw was a 4-man Dragon Arrow into a 4-man Earthshaker stun into a 4-man taunt. Absolutely disgusting combo set up by my Hanzo. Really like the arrow as the counter engage there. And as you saw, I didn't try to go for any isolations or picks or anything. I just went for the big combo. The enemy team was all grouped, and it's at that point in the game where I can just go for a full combo. So I just threw, taunted, walked away. The enemies had at least 2 of the enemies I think I taunted were ranged heroes, so they'd stay where I left them when I taunted, so I could walk away and land another Q. Anyways, at this point, it's just the end of the game. We have a Sonya hammer on core. There's not really too much to talk about at this point. So I hope what I kind of showed with this is a lot of the Garrosh combos in action, as well as a lot of my thinking when playing the hero. Obviously, a lot of this hero is just getting those picks. It's especially valuable when you can kill even the enemy tank. Diablo is kind of a weird one because when he's full souls, he's actually a very tanky target, but when he's not full souls, he's very killable. So try to keep an eye on his souls to determine if you want to throw him in or if you need to throw him away. But you saw a good mix of throws there. You saw me using my throw to actually keep me alive in that mid-fight, where I had to throw the Zeratul away to guaranteed land my Q and get my shield. Just a lot of different tools like that. The character is very flexible in a lot of different ways. That being said, he still is based largely around that pick strategy. And so as much as possible, try to play to bushes, try to play to mount. As you saw in those shrines, once again, you don't need to be hitting the shrine. You only need your teammates to be hitting the shrine. You look for picks. You look for where the enemy is going to come. And you just look to punish the enemy if they come not together as a full 5-man unit. That's where Garrosh shines. Early game, if the enemy team is not 5-man, he will pick them apart. If the enemy is 5-man later in the game, he can then turn on them and try to go for big taunt combos. And I hope you saw those differences in playstyles early and late game. So anyways, that was my Garrosh video. I hope that gameplay gave you a little bit of a visualization of what I was talking about in this guide. Also, I'm potentially planning on doing more of these where I just comment over HL games. If you really like this, make sure to send a comment saying basically asking for more at this point. I'd love any sort of feedback. If you didn't like it or you think there's ways I could have made it better, I'm appreciative of that feedback as well. So send whatever you got. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the guide. All right? Have a nice day, people.